Did you know that cannabis is all about relationship? And what is your relationship to cannabis? Welcome again to the cannabis conversations that we're not having. We're going to dig into relationship this episode and really uncover what it means to have a right relationship with cannabis. This is a question I often ask people when I'm at markets or when I'm teaching classes is, what is your relationship with cannabis? Or what is your connection with cannabis? And I have a multitude of answers and responses from people, but when we word it that way, a connection or relationship, it doesn't mean that I'm talking about, do you consume it? How do you consume it? What's it like when you consume it? That's a piece of our relationship. But relationship and connection more talks about how we understand the plant and how we share conversations about the plant and how we show respect and reciprocity for the plant. What I'm noticing largely in our culture is that our relationship with cannabis is dysregulated. And what that means is that we reach to cannabis for a number of reasons, and often it's this concept of using cannabis. So using cannabis to help us, whatever, to escape or to check out or to manage pain or to get a good night's sleep or to have fun or to work with cancer or to many myriad of reasons why we use cannabis. And my invitation is to consider that term of use, because use does not indicate the concept of reciprocity. So with our plant relatives, this reciprocity and this giving and receiving type of relationship is really, really important so that we can access the full benefits of this plant and how she interacts with us. So when I'm seeing people who are having dysregulated relationships with cannabis, they may have addictive traits in their connection with cannabis. They may have shame and guilt surrounding their connection with cannabis. They may, when they're lighting up with cannabis, be thinking thoughts of, I shouldn't be doing this, or I want to do this different, or it's not what I want, but I keep grabbing and reaching for cannabis. So these are areas that I want to really explore and to uncover, how are we interacting with cannabis? In my earlier connection with cannabis, when I was first starting to work with her, I've got some smudge going here, just making sure. Yes, I don't know if you can see the little smoke going. So smoke is helping us with this sacredness, and even just burning a little bit of cannabis for the smoke aspect is another way of relating with cannabis without having to consume. When I, in my earlier years of consuming cannabis, I was very much a closet consumer. So that means that I was ashamed of what I was doing. I didn't tell people because I was concerned with their perception of me. I was very rigid in how I would consume cannabis. So I would largely consume only at night for sleep. And also to manage pain. But I wouldn't consume during the day to manage my pain because I didn't want anyone to think of me as a stoner or a loser or sitting on the couch, or all of these stigma-based ways that we label people. And so I hid my consumption from my family and from my friends. And I was communing in this way that wasn't a full reciprocity. I was hiding her, and I wasn't bringing her out to her full expression and allowing her to be who she is so that I could be who I am. So as my years of working with cannabis went on and I began to research more and more about this plant and its medicinal benefits, I began to really ground into, I need to be open about this, and I need to share how cannabis is working for me in a good way. And I need to also respect my relationship with cannabis and also be mindful of how I am working with her and how I am consuming. There is multiple ways of consuming cannabis. Largely, we look to smoking, and it's not the best way for sure, but there's other ways of inhaling the smoke if we want to work with the smoke. There's other ways of consuming through edibles, so we can ingest it, we can apply it topically, we can tended in the garden, and that is as far as the relationship needs to go. We can make medicine through making butters or oils or tinctures, or we can consume the raw aspect of cannabis without even heating it. And there's way more aspects of cannabis than just THC. When we think about cannabis, it's always THC that we're thinking about. Let's just get high. And this is only one small segment of what this whole plant has to offer. Yes, there is that opportunity to be high or to be elevated in our experience, but there's also the opportunity to be nervous system regulated, to reduce pain, to help us reduce our anxiety and depression, to bring a balance about in our mood and our way of moving through our lives, all without being high. And so in bringing this more awareness to how we commune with cannabis, as a helicopter going by, our relationship is so important, and our relationship stands around our intention. Before I reach to cannabis, and I encourage all my clients to do this as you are working with cannabis, is before you reach for your oil or the plant or whatever it is, however it is that you're communing with cannabis, that you take a moment to pause, take a breath, and consider why you are reaching for cannabis. What is it that you are intending for her to do for you? And you know, the interesting thing about cannabis is that she responds to our intention. She loves it when we tell her where to go and what to do and how we can work together, even if it is for fun and pleasure. And I'm not saying we have to move away from the aspects of having fun and having cannabis in a recreational adult use way. That's totally an aspect of where cannabis can thrive. If you're going into a public situation and you want to swap out your alcohol for cannabis, that's a great choice. If you want to bring cannabis into a social situation that brings you anxiety, that's a great choice. But it's this mindfulness and this way of communing with cannabis that brings in our intention and this sacred reciprocity. So in that moment of pause, while we are really smoking, there's a lot of smoke coming our way, to help purify and to help just transform our way that we are working with this plant. And so with our breath and with that moment of intention and pause, we can be able to just take that moment of and express gratitude for how this plant has been with us for centuries, and how it wants to bring us back to balance, and how it wants us to feel good within our bodies. By taking that moment to pause and offer gratitude, we can transform our relationship to one of using, to one of relating, and gratitude and intention. So let's consider that. When you think about cannabis, whether you're communing with it, connecting with it, or just sitting and thinking about it, expressing gratitude to this beautiful plant that pairs with us in such a sacred way. Again, if these topics are curious for you and are just sparking some kind of deeper interest into cannabis and our way of relating with her, I invite you to continue following along the video series, and we'll be talking more about the Cannabis Informed Practitioner Program. Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll be talking about the potential that we don't talk about.